Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my other co hosts over there. I got Cantu on my right side, and then also Enrique Cruz on the other side. Tell them what's up, everybody.
How's it going?
What up? What up?
This is episode 97. The Astros just got the series win in Chitown, double down in Chitown, really. Got both wins over there. Also, happy belated Mother's Day to all. Hopefully, everybody had a good weekend. Give mothers their flowers, give them some gifts, took her out to a good dinner, anything like that. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend. But of course, we got to start off with our show. We got Astros Roundup. We'll do our shout outs. We'll also talk about Rafael Montero. Hasn't been looking very decent so far for the Astros bullpen, but we'll talk about him a little bit. Injury updates, preview for the Chicago Cubs, offensive, pitching MVPs, hot takes, and around the league. But first, of course, you already know we got to do our shout outs. And Angel, how about you start us off for this one? Give us your first shout out of the day.
How about shout out to our lucrative lefties, our left-handers, Bash brothers, who have been solid year round for the Astros. Starting off with Jordan Alvarez, he's been producing all year and just continued his hot roll. 4 for 11 with a 364 batting average, one home run, three RBIs, and a walk. Alvarez has just tied Adolis Garcia with 37 RBIs for the MLB
Mm.
league. And just how we've been saying in the past two podcasts, give Alvarez opportunities to bring in runs. With runners in scoring position, he's batting 481. He has a slugging percentage of 1,074 and OPS plus on base percentage plus slugging as 1,620. So those are just like godly numbers right there. So the I'm gonna have a question for you. Do you think Jordan Alvarez is making a case himself for MVP this year?
I think so. It's a little early.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Definitely.
Heck yeah.
37 MLB
The reason
league
I
is
say
high.
that is because Shohei Ohtani is obviously like the front runner just because he has that batting and pitching, but I think Jordan Alvarez is standing himself apart from
If he
that.
can stay healthy, he could be the MVP this year.
Oh, for
That's
sure,
my take
for
on
sure.
that.
And then we can't forget Kyle Tucker. Again, 4 for 11 as well,
Hmm.
two RBIs, one walk. Now, my question for you all is: do y'all think Kyle Tucker needs to stay in the cleanup position in the lineup until Jose Abreu could start hitting, or when Jose Altuve returns back?
Hey, I think if he continues to hit 4 for 11 and 4 for 11, 4 for 11, I mean, he could stay wherever he wants. I mean, just keep him there where he's feeling hot and good, right? And really, Tucker, I think as we've all experienced in his time here at the Astros, the guy shows no emotion. So if you were to put him lead off, he'd be like this. If you put him second, like this. Clean up, like this. So it doesn't matter. I mean, he can hit. Hitters hit, and that's what he does, man. The biggest thing that I thought was so funny is that I love the fact that he shows no emotion, right? It's like honestly something that I'm so jealous about that he just shows no emotion. He can go deep, no problem. He can strike out, no problem. And I say that because the last play of the game today, McCormick makes an absolute awesome play to end the game, dives in left center field, robs them of a double, and Tucker just stands over him and is just like looks down. And it's almost like he just mumbles, "Nice catch, man," and that's it. Let's get out of here, right? I mean, I just think that he is awesome, and I've become such a super Tucker fan now that I think that he will potentially at one point in his career probably contend for an MVP as well.
Yeah, I feel like he's like the silent assassin.
Super silent assassin, bro. Because I'm telling you right now, he can go 30-30 one year, no doubt.
Hmm. Definitely.
What about yours, Enrique? Who's your
Oh, the
MVP?
shout out,
Or shout out, sorry, your
my
shout
I
out.
was gonna say so my shout out got to give it to the rookie Diaz for going deep, having his first home run of his major league career. It's a wonderful thing for him. Obviously, I think we all saw he got the silent treatment from his teammates, which is a rite of passage, so to speak. And it's just amazing that he was able to experience that. Like I was telling you guys before we started, I feel like they took a little too long. I was kind of
Yeah.
cringing for him just because he was like totally trying to like, hey, guys, come on.
Trying to get some
So
high fives and
trying to get
everything like that.
some love, man. And then all of a sudden, man, he went all the way down the dugout. And finally, they broke, and they ran at him and high five. So it was really cool to see him get that number one, and he'll never forget it. And it's gonna be many to come because I'm telling you, like we said last time I was with you guys, he is gonna be special for this club. He's already shown some really good defensive capabilities, throwing guys out, and we know he's gonna hit. So he's gonna get his opportunities, and I'm glad he got one in today.
Yeah, Dana Brown has even mentioned about him being the future
Mm,
of the Astros starting catcher and being in that position. But even like you said, giving him more opportunities to be able to DH or even in the catching position too, because he's done pretty good throwing out runners this year.
mhm,
Top time looks great. It's almost up there with JT Realmuto, which is one of the best guys, catching runners on.
mhm,
So I think it'd be great for him to get some more opportunities, more at bats because if he continues to see the ball better, there's a
mhm.
good chance he could be at that DH role for a very long time.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's a great opportunity. That's a great point, Zoe, to give him more at bats as in the DH, situation, so he can face more of the big league pitching and just kind of get more acclimated. And so when it's his turn to be behind the plate, he's not as rusty. So that's great. That's a great point.
Agreed.
Definitely. But y'all have some hitters. Hey, we gotta get some love to the starting pitching. You had Framber Valdez and Christian Javier pitch their butts off over there in Anaheim.
Hmm.
It did not stop over here in Chi-Town with JP France, Brandon Belak, and Hunter Brown. Let's start off with JP France, the stash. That stash is just up there. I told Angel the last time we talked about it has to be up there in the top five of the current Major League Baseball players that we have. 6 and 2/3, 3 hits, one earned run, one walk, three strikeouts. There was even a weather delay that did not phase him because usually the starting pitchers get, when they have a delay in, before the game, automatically you're thinking, okay, well, they're not going to start that game, or
Hmm.
possibly they're not going to continue on if it's during the game. JP France just kept it cool, ice cold in his veins, everything like that. Went out there and dominated against the White Sox. Next up, I got Brandon Belak, 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, one earned run, no walks, four strikeouts. And like I said before, when we talked about Brandon Belak, he's not going to be your, the high Cy Young guy. He's just going to give you innings and he's going to give the offense an opportunity to produce and give him some runs, then the Astros can win the games. He did that. Unfortunately, the Astros offense have been very, down whenever he pitches for some reason. It's almost like Justin Verlander back in
Mm,
2019 when Cole would get all the run support and then Justin Verlander pitches and he would get no run support. That's
hmm,
how it is right now for Brandon Belak. And then Hunter Brown. I say it's a decent day at the office. Five and two
hmm.
thirds, 7 hits, three earned runs, one walk, eight strikeouts. He gave up that solo home run to Luis Robert Jr., which
Everybody
I'm
did.
glad. I am glad he is not going to be seen for the rest of the season. And then gave up that two-run homer to Jake Berger, which
Hmm.
got Dusty to get him out of the ball game. But overall, you got to just give these guys the opportunity, and they showed out right there. JP France, a rookie, Hunter Brown, a rookie, Brandon Belak, he's been in the show, but of course, he's been up and down through the AAA and Major League farm systems. But overall, I mean, you got to take this as if you're a Nationals fan, you got to take this as a win. You go over there on the road. It didn't start off well with the Seattle Mariners. You lost that series, but getting back-to-back series wins against the Angels, which is in your rival in the AL West, and then the AL Central, which the White Sox aren't a bad team. It's just right now they're in the tough stretch. They got Tim Anderson, which is a good player. You got Luis Robert Jr., Andrew Benintendi. He did really well for the Kansas City Royals last year, but now he's a White Sox. So, I mean, I think it's a win for the Astros. I don't know what y'all would say about this series.
I'll say this real quick, Angel, and before I jump in front of you, Angel, but I'll tell you this, man. You make a really good point too. I mean, because look, even in the Mariners series, we could have easily won that series. Obviously, our bullpen let us down just a little bit. I'd say a lot, but in one particular game. But hey, it is what it is. But just to piggyback on what you said, the starting pitching did their job, and I'm just looking at France. His stash is amazing, right? His glasses combination is even better. But I think with him and like how we mentioned before, him, Hunter Brown, those guys are getting their opportunity, right? This is their opportunity to let everybody know, hey, especially Dusty and all the pitching staff and the GM and all the analytics guys, hey, we're here. We can be utilized. We're a force. Give us the information. We'll make our adjustments, and we're more than capable. So this is a very good showcase for them, and I just hope they continue to do it because we need them. As you know, with our injuries right now, this is going to be an opportunity for the people that make all the decisions. It's going to be a tough decision when all of our other guys come back, which is a very good problem for us to have because, like I said, this is a showcase for them. And you never know. Those guys may end up entering some sort of bullpen role or, emergency starter role. Who knows? But it's just one of those things where I'm happy about it. I'm happy for these guys. And it's a great problem for us to have.
Yeah, and then shout out to B like he's been
Mm-hmm.
roughed up like in the past few starts, but he really stepped up big for this club. You know, put on a showing again, like you said. I wish the run support was there, like to get his first win, but I mean, he's stepped up really big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like you were saying, depleting starting pitching rotation that we have, what the Astros have right now. And that's what helped the Astros get to the World Series last year. You had Luis Garcia and Jose Urquidy in your bullpen
Mm-hmm.
and you had Justin Verlander, Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, and Lance McCullers Jr. in the rotation during the playoffs. So, yes, it's going to be a key component for JP France, for the Hunter Browns to be able to show out and prove the Astros front office, hey, I can be able to take this role. We could go to the next level with it. But not talking about starting pitcher right now. We're going to be talking about a relief pitcher in particular. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
Rafael Montero. And Montero has been struggling coming out of the bullpen lately. There's no secret about that. He had a good month of April. 180 ERA, 10 innings pitched, 12 hits, 2 earned runs, 14 strikeouts. But in his last 4 appearances, and this is all in the month of May, he is 0-3 with a 22.09 ERA,
Mm-hmm.
3 and 2/3, 8 hits, 9 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. When you're listening to them numbers right now, that's just like, my gosh, it's
Yeah.
just bad right now. I don't know, like, if it's mechanically, if he's in his head, what is happening to Montero, and what do y'all think what the Astros could do for him? Do you think they can, instead of using him in a high leverage situation, more like when the Astros have some cushion with a 4 or 5, not earned run, but 5-run lead? What do y'all think what they could do with him?
I feel like it's a mixture of both, but that wouldn't be a good idea. Like get like baseball's all about mentality, right? And when you're not like when command's not there or you're leaving pitches out and you start getting hit, that confidence level goes down. So I agree with you. I think Dusty could put him in a like low leverage situation, get a feel for his pitches, work more on mechanics or like command or whatever he needs to do to get better. But that wouldn't be such a bad idea. What about you, Enrique?
No, I don't disagree at all. I think that the biggest thing is that he's a veteran guy now at this point, right? And he's signed a 3-year deal with us at the Astros here. So I think it's something where they probably give him a few more a few more opportunities in the high leverage situations just to see how it goes, just to kind of give him that respect factor of like, hey man, this guy's been in big games. He's done it for us. He's in a little bit of funk, but we're going to throw him out there. Right. I think that they do allow him that. And then if it doesn't work out, then at that point, yes, we put him in less pressure situations to kind of build up his confidence and let him be ready for that second half when everything really does matter and his confidence needs to be there at that point. So definitely, I'm certain they're having discussions internally on how to handle that at this point. But I really think that you give him that courtesy as a veteran guy to just, hey man, we believe in you, get after it. We're gonna continue to give you more shots at this.
Yeah, and I feel like the Astros have the luxury where they can do that
Mm-hmm.
because they have guys like Maydon and Abreu and Stanek who have experience in that setup role, or even come out here and get a few saves. Like so, they have the cushion to
Mm-hmm.
work on that and like give them a chance to recuperate like whatever's going on.
100%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But moving on to injuries, that's been a big news for the Astros this year and in the previous years as well.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that Astros fans were expecting to be back is Michael Brantley.
Mm-hmm.
And he was supposed to be back in Anaheim, how we mentioned before, and it just didn't happen. So at first, we didn't have any information there. Like they just sent him back to Houston again for testing. Well, now that testing is here. So per Daniel Lerner, Dusty Baker said Michael Brantley has inflammation in his surgically repaired shoulder. And the Astros are shutting him down for an indefinite period. So again, there's no timetable for his return right now. Dusty Baker also said he has no idea how long Brantley will be shut down. So, you know, Michael Brantley's a over 10-year vet. He's a competitor, so this is what he had to say. As a competitor, you want to be out there with your team. I love these guys. I love this organization. I'm more disappointed in myself, but at the same time, I'll continue to put in work, keep my head down, and be the best teammate I can be. So, my question to you is: will we see Michael Brantley this season?
I'm gonna say yes.
I'll say yes
Fingers
too.
crossed. Yes. I only say that because when it comes to injuries and we don't know the extent, we don't know the details, right? And it's just something where, man, he's a veteran, he's a little bit older, so that's the only reason why I have a little bit of hesitation, simply because of the body's not what it used to be on the healing side, and again, the details we don't know. I mean, but I'm also always a half full type of person, and I half glass half full. Uh, Wait, glass half full. There we go. Sorry,
Have-
I was like half glass half full. What? Anyways, uh, I'm just in a positive mindset of it all. I hope and believe that he'll be back and he'll be, like he said in the quote, a very good teammate and a veteran presence that will help them make that playoff push. So I believe in Mike and Uncle Mike, and I hope he gets there.
yeah. Just to piggyback real quick on
Hmm.
that, I could see him maybe possibly returning after the All Star break. I think
Hmm.
that's you're going to be your best bet right there because we'll get to it already. We're at the beginning, really in the half mark of May. You got June coming up. That's a whole month, and then July you have the All Star break in the middle of July. I think he'll come back at that time. And for the Astros front office too, it gets to see his progression.
Hmm.
Is he going to be able to continue on? Is this the last dance for Michael Brantley? And you got your plan B right there at the trade deadline at the end of July. You get to see, okay, if he's not ready, we got to go out there and do something. We got to find a veteran hitter, maybe possibly work out a trade, something like that. And I think this possibly right here could be Michael Brantley's last dance.
Yeah, so let me play a scenario for y'all. So say Michael Brantley isn't coming back this year. Do the Astros rely on their farm system or the guys they have right now, or do they pick up a big bat in the trade deadline? Especially like say they're battling for first or second place, because I know the Rangers are doing good right now. The Mariners are going to step up soon. So what do you think happens?
I mean, so you want it or you want me? You want
Go
me to?
ahead, go ahead. You
Okay,
got it.
man. I tell you, like that scenario is so it's tough because I just feel like the Astros track record right now, especially when it comes to position guys, they are confident in the guys that they have in the minor leagues, right? They're confident in giving their young prospects an opportunity to dazzle them. I mean, perfect example is, I mean, we got Pena at shortstop. I mean, I know he came in after Correa, but still, we gave him the opportunity. He did his thing, and next thing you know, we're like forgetting that Correa was even here. I just think that it's a scenario where the combination of McCormick, right, and then Tucker, who's obviously a solidified player for us, but like and Jake Myers and whoever else, right?
Corey Jokes.
Corey Jokes, there you
Mhm,
go. I mean, I'm just
mhm,
telling you, like those guys, this is their showcase right now.
mhm.
This is their opportunity, and I think that they're definitely enjoying it. I think they've done a very good job as of late, and unless it's a dire situation and we are just needing some sort of super veteran jolt, I just really think that the Astros organization will rely on their prospects and their young guys to give them an opportunity to help the ball club keep going forward. Because if we grab a veteran guy at the end, that comes with a large financial backing of it potentially, and we as we've all seen in the Astros past, they only do that when it's really really a situation where they have no other choice and they're all in at that point. But I'm saying the young guys, there's a lot of confidence with them, and I think they would be more than willing to step up to the plate. No pun intended.
But moving on, Lance McCullers Jr. update per Daniel Lerner again. Lance McCullers Jr. threw his scheduled bullpen Saturday in Chicago, mixed in four seamers, changeup, and sinkers. His velocity was about 80, 89, 91. So
Mm,
that's good to see. And he'll start throwing breaking balls on flat ground, especially with that forearm strain. I feel like breaking balls are a little bit more
mm-hmm,
tedious on the
Stressful.
arm, like stressful.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, like gives that pressure on the arm. So that's good to be I feel like his recovery is like on track and he's good where he needs to be. But someone might be coming soon to Minute Maid Park in an Astros uniform. He is 5'8", 5'7". He's a legend in
Yes.
Astros. Gonna have that 27 number retired on
Oh yeah.
next to Craig
Most likely.
Biggio and Jose Cruz, but
Oh
Jose
yeah.
Altuve rehabbing in Sugar Land. So he began his rehab assignment with the Space Cowboys Friday night, and he said he feels pretty good after playing 7 innings. He said actually he feels good, a little tired. That's normal. Put the ball in play a lot, so I have to run. It was a great game for me to come back after a few months with not seeing the baseball. He also said sometimes I was too early, sometimes a little late, but first day after 2 months, I'm really happy where I'm at right now. So, good news for Astros fans. He's working on that timing, and it's good to see him swing a bat after that thumb injury. Especially hand injuries are very tedious because that's when you grip the ball, so strengthen the grip. But I'm sure the Astros nation is happy to have him back.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Uh,
very important for it's gonna
yeah.
be very important for them to have Altuve in the lineup because I've said Alvarez is the heart of the lineup, but Jose Altuve is the heart of the team.
Yeah.
Because if they pick, I mean, he's your table setter in the leadoff position, and if Altuve goes, the rest of that lineup goes. So it's a great sign for Astros fans. Hopefully, though, the Astros don't overdo with Altuve like how they did with Brantley and Chas McCormick, because even McCormick had to sit some games out. He barely played the Chicago series. He played that last game of that White Sox series before, playing that first game in Anaheim. But yeah, it's a great sign for Astros fans to hear that Jose Altuve is rehabbing in Sugarland. We'll see. Maybe we'll get an update coming this series in against the Chicago Cubs. And since we're talking about the Chicago Cubs, let's get that preview going. And the Cubs right now are 19-21. Their last two games, they were obliterated. They just did not look like the Cubs. That the last game they played on Sunday was a 16-3 loss against the Minnesota Twins. So, and the Cubs haven't been looking too good. Third in the NL Central though, 4-6 in their last 10 games. So let's start it off. Monday night, 7:10 start time, Space City night as well. You got Framber Valdez, who's 3-4 with a 2.38 ERA versus Jameson Taillon, 0-2 with a 6.41 ERA. And Taillon's he's a Texas boy. He's from the Woodlands area as well. Valdez's last outing against the Angels was 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts. He was missing one more strikeout to tie his career high. Enrique, what do you think on Framber Valdez coming this game, this series against Jameson Taillon on the other end?
Well, here's the deal. He's my pick for the series. Okay, I just want you to thank you for you setting that up perfectly. So, and you put it on the tee, and I'm just swinging, taking hacks at it. But I think Framber is going to be awesome. I think that the biggest thing would be for him not to really overlook the Cubs because they're a little bit wounded at this point in time, right? To not think that, oh, it's the Cubs, I'm just going to dominate just because I'm Framber, I'm going to, and the franchise, I'm going to dominate. No, he's going to take his normal Zen, easy, breathing meditation type mentality, and with super confidence in there to throw that breaking ball over and over again and have a lot of swing and misses, and get some ground balls with this two-seamer. But man, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for us to face the Cubs. The Cubs do like to come to our house and play well from history standpoint, but it definitely is a different time for the Astros and the Cubs. So I really think that our guys are going to take care of business. We should win the series, and it's so good to get Framber to get the ball first to kind of set that tone. And one last thing, I want to touch base with the Altuve situation. Okay, he definitely is that that spark plug, man. He's the guy that you hear that saying, right? Hitting is contagious, right? So when he starts hitting, I feel like Bregman's going to start hitting. I feel like that whole lineup is going to start hitting just because it's just a different environment when Altuve's on top of the order, man. People see his energy, people see his aura of just being the Mr. Astro, so to speak, and it's just going to be a good thing when he gets back in the lineup because everybody's going to start clicking. I'm telling you. And I'm praying that even Jose Abreu does too. So, because we need that big bat in the lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a big contribution if we could get him started swinging. If Alex Bregman can start swinging as well, because if them guys start getting it,
it's over.
Major League Baseball better watch out for them Astros.
Yes, the Western Division is in trouble big time.
Definitely. But Jameson Taillon on the other end, his last outing versus St. Louis, 2 2/3, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. His last 2 starts haven't been great for him. He hasn't even got to the 5-inning mark, barely getting to the 3-inning mark himself. 5 2/3, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. That doesn't sound like a starting pitching stat right there, and that sounds more of a relief role, but he's been the starting pitcher, and he just got paid with the Cubs this past offseason. I thought that was in my opinion, it was a terrible move on the Cubs because you could have got a guy like Nathan Eovaldi, who's doing pretty good over there in Texas, but you decided to give a 4-year $1 million deal to Jameson Taillon. So that's just my opinion on that. But what I found interesting, I had to dig deep about this, was the arsenal he pitches. He has a lot of pitches. I think he has 8 pitches in his arsenal. But the 2 pitches I'm going to talk about really right here, right now, is his cutter and his 4-seam fastball. In 2021, he threw his cutter about 3.7%. 2022, he gradually increased it by going 11.1. And now 2023 is 28.4%. However, on the bad news of this end for him is that the opponent batting average is a 462. So hitters are just sitting on that cutter and just demolishing the ball. On the other side, 4-seam fastball, 2021, 49.5%. diminishes in 2022 with a 35.7%, and 2023 is 24.3, but has more success than that cutter. Opponent batting average on that side is a 273, which
Hmm.
is a little bit promising compared to the cutter. Obviously, 462 and 273, them are two big different numbers right there. And then he's have success on the road though. At home,
Hmm.
he hasn't been that very well, but on the road, he's been really good. Right-handed hitters are hitting 176, while left-handed hitters are hitting 167. So my question to you, Angel, what's going to be the key for this Astros offense to get going against Jameson Taillon and kind of ruin that opponent batting average on the road?
For me, is sit fastball, react breaking ball. Just like you said, he throws a lot of fastballs. The cutter 28.4% of the time, four seam 24. I'm sorry, cutter 28.4% of the time, four seam 24.3, and sinker 14%. That's his top three pitches. And how you were mentioning his batting average on the cutter is 462, four seam fastball 273, which is still pretty high, and then that sinker 154. So I feel like if the Astros can see that fastball coming or be aggressive a little bit and catch that fastball. Don't wait to get a breaking ball. They should be able to put the ball in play.
I'm so curious, man. With him having such a tough year, um, I'm just so curious of whether or not his velocity is the same as it was 2 years ago with the fastball, the four seamer, right? And also just kind of just wondering how his movement is, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because when you say those stats, a part of me, and I'm coming from a non-pitcher perspective, but I'm just thinking like if he's throwing less of the four seam fastball, I'm wondering if either some pitching coach or somebody told him, "Hey, your velocity is kind of down on this. We need some more movement. Let's throw some more cutters." And maybe the cutter isn't moving as much, or he's just leaving it over the plate, or like how you said earlier, maybe the scouting report from the hitter side is like, dude, he throws a lot of cutters. Let's just sit on the cutter and just bang it.
Yeah.
So, especially if he's not able to throw a breaking ball pitch to kind of mess the timing up, but it's just interesting because he's a good pitcher. He's had a
Mm-hmm.
good career. He hasn't had a super crazy career, but he's got a good career. And I think that for him, it's a scenario where you never know. Like you say, he pitches better on the road. He may have a good home cooked meal, come Sunday or Monday night or whatever, and he may pitch his best game. I hope not, but and even if he does, I hope we win. But I just don't know. There's a lot of different factors when it comes to that, man. He's like I said, he's a Woodlands, Texas guy, Houston guy. I remember meeting him years ago when he was in high school. But I think that he should. I mean, he's got good enough stuff to be better than what he is this year.
Yeah, so I'm looking at his velocity right now
Mm.
that you mentioned that,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been about the same since 2019. Like,
Wow.
so I mean, I don't know. Maybe they tried a different game plan, like
Mm-hmm.
Joe was saying, throwing the cutter more instead of the fastball. But you know, I feel like if he goes back to what he was, what works,
Right.
maybe he'll be more efficient.
But I mean, because hitting when your opponents are hitting 400 off of your cutter, I don't know why we're throwing the cutter. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
it's just bad baseball. He has to just not be placing it where he wants it.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because unfortunate for him, but good for the hitters, right? Because if you can't place that cutter, if you can't place any pitch, it's bang time.
Definitely. So that is Monday night matchup. And
Mm.
Tuesday night, we got 7:10 start time, which is, I think this is going to be the pitching matchup of the series. You got Christian Javier, who's 3-1 with a 3.47 ERA. He'll be going against Justin Steele, and he
Mm.
has been still all right. 6-0, 1.82 ERA. And Javier, his last outing, he looked perfect for the Astros. He really helped out. Back-to-back good outings from Framber, and then you go with Javier. That's your 1-2 punch. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. That is the first double-digit strikeout of the season, I believe, for Christian Javier. If it's not his first, it could be his second from 9 appearances this season. But the big guy that I want to talk about is going to be Justice Steele
Mm-hmm.
because undefeated 6-0 with a 1.82 ERA. That's pretty impressive right now so far in the season. Last outing at St. Louis, 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Them are the most earned runs he's allowed this season in 8 starts. 3 earned runs, which is pretty good so far. He ranks 10th in MLB with 56 ground ball outs, and we already know who's number one on that list. It's the ground ball king himself, Framber Valdez. But
Franchise.
definitely, and we're gonna see a lot of the fastball and slider mix in this Tuesday's night's game. Fastball, he throws 60.5% of the time with 439 pitches being thrown. And the slider, 34.8%, 253 pitches have been thrown. He has three more pitches, which is the sinker. He's only thrown 19, curveball thrown 8, and changeup he's only thrown 7. So in 2022, his fastball rate used to be 56.4. Now in 2023, it jumped a little bit, 60.5, 22 as well for the slider, 31.1%. Jumped a little as well, just like the fastball in 23 with a 34.8%. Like I said, he's going to be a ground ball kind of pitcher, generates a lot of soft contact. Average exit velocity off the bat is 84.6, which is a 96th percentile according to Baseball Savant. Hard hit percentage as well, 23.4, 98th percentile. And these percentiles are great for pitchers, not just only for hitters, but for pitchers as well. So my question to you guys, as I've already questioned about the start for Framber Valdez and Jameson Taillon, but this is going to be for Justin Steele. What's going to be the key, just like for the Taillon incidents, but for this one, to hand Justin Steele's first loss of the season for the Astros? What's going to be the key for them to get going against him?
I would say, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would say be aggressive. I was looking at his heat maps on Baseball Savant, and he throws a lot of pitches in the zone. So he's not really missing his spots unless he's purposely missing to have hitters chase. So we can be aggressive. I mean, that'll be a good jump him in early. Hopefully, like he's only has 14 walks in in 8 starts, so he's not gonna be walking a lot of guys, and he does strike a lot, like a lot of players out. So be aggressive. Maybe like be expecting a fastball right there, like first pitch, maybe trying to get it like ahead in the zone or put something in play. But that's my thing. Be aggressive.
I mean, I would have to agree. Be aggressive and also hit his mistakes, because I'm looking at some of his maps here too, and I'm like, wow, he looks like he hits his spots a lot. Yeah. Like he is like up and down, like top of the zone, from a right-hander perspective, up and in. Guys are hitting a buck 05, 125 down and in for right-handed hitters, right? And then away 222. It's like, wow, like he's hitting the spots. The ones where he gets lit up is basically right down the middle, right? Which I'm assuming is early in the count or just mistake pitches, or right down the middle down. So clearly my man is got some good electric stuff, and he's hitting his spots. Because I mean, this opponent batting average right here is, box by box is pretty impressive, and it matches up. I mean, if you're 6-0, with a 1.8 ERA, I mean, you're doing some things right. I mean, and it's like you said, he's gonna have a lot of contact, a little weak contact. Only 39 strikeouts on the year, based off his 49 innings pitched, but still nice, man. So you're right, Zoe. This is going to be an interesting matchup for us on Tuesday night. So it's going to be exciting to see, because hopefully we can defeat the man of steel, Justin Steele.
Yeah. Steele.
That game is going to have a lot of fastballs and sliders from both ends. So be ready for that.
Yeah. Hopefully Minute Maid has his kryptonite. So.
It could be a 2-hour, 6-minute game if we just don't know. It could be an hour and 56-minute game, but that's going to be one of the best pitching matchups this series. And then for Wednesday night, 7:10 start time, you got the kid, the stash, JP France, 1-0 this year, getting his first win in Chicago, 0.77 ERA. He'll be going against Drew Smyly, which he's another good pitcher for the Cubs, 4-1, 3.05 ERA. And like I said, France's last outing, and I read the numbers earlier in the show, looked outstanding, got his first win over there in the south side of Chicago. His last two outings combined now, if you put them together, 11 2/3, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Are we impressed with JP France's 2 outings, or what's more impressive, the stash or these last 2 outings from him?
You know what? Give me both.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, the stash is impressive, but the way he's carried himself has also been pretty nice to see. He definitely has no fear. He definitely has a lot of confidence in himself and that mustache. So, I think it's a good thing for himself, but also for the Astros. So it's good to have a good early start. But, sooner or later, some of these guys are going to start making some adjustments, and, hopefully he'll make his own adjustments as well. So kudos to him, man. I'm fired up for him, and hopefully much more continued success for him in the stash.
Definitely.
Definitely. And on the other side of the pitching matchup, you got Drew Smiley. His last outing at Minnesota, 6 innings pitch, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Has really pitched great for the Cubs after his first start of the season. That was a shaky start. He gave up, I believe, 5+ runs. After that, he's looked really successful for the Chicago rotation. He was very close to getting that perfect game as well. If we
Mm,
all remembered that
mm-hmm.
catcher incident by Yan Gomes. Kudos to that for happening and not being able to see Major League history. And you're not going to see a lot of strikeouts from him this season. His career, not really career high, but season high is 10, and the next best being 7. He's been a 5 strikeout, 4 strikeout, 3 strikeout kind of guy. So you're going to see a lot of baseball, putting the ball in play, basically. 3 pitch arsenal,
Mm.
which, you got Tyon and you got Justin Steele, and they have a little bit more pitching. This guy, he only has 3 pitches. He has the curveball, the sinker, the cutter. Curveball's the one. That's the top one he's going to throw, 48.1%. And then his sinker is about 44.3%. The curveball, he's gotten the most strikeouts with 27 this season, has a whiff rate of 30.9%. The curveball, you're going to see the average of 77 miles per hour, while the sinker, you have 91 miles per hour as well. And then against the left-handed hitters, 308 opponent batting average, 374 WOBA as well. Away from Chicago, not being over there at Wrigley Field, hitters have dominated, and he has not dominated. 476 for the opposing teams of an opponent's batting average. So throughout these series, we're going to see a lot of it. Could be possibly home runs. It could be a possible pitcher's duel, like I said, with Christian Javier and Justin Steele. One's going to be a good one. I think a good second could be this Drew Smiley and JP France, because JP France has been pitching really well for the Astros. This is going to be his first start going into Minute Maid Park. But of course, you got Drew Smiley on the other hand. He has great success having a 3.05 ERA. Very, very interesting matchups coming in to the Chicago Cubs preview.
Yeah,
Andrew?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And you're saying that he's struggling against left-handed hitters. Well, there's a team out there in Houston that has two great lefties. And as long as you give them run scoring opportunities, again, Astros will be successful. But now it is time for our MVPs and hot takes. This time, I promise I'll be better. So,
Well,
uh,
what did you? Yeah, read us what you had from last episode.
Alex Bregman was my offensive MVP, but my pitching was pretty good. JB France and Hunter Brown rebounds and pitches 7 strong, which he did. But I want to get better in that offensive point on that offensive MVP, so I had to choose the one and only Jordan Alvarez, keeping up
Of
his hot
course.
start. You know, you just can't root against him. Like, a guy like that, again, we just talked about that could be the potential MVP, AL MVP for this season, and it's easy choice. Pitching MVP, Christian Javier. I picked him like I think out of the most pitchers we have, like since we've done this, and he hasn't failed me yet. So let's continue. But I do have a flaming hot take. I say Abreu gets a hit every game this series. I would really
Oof.
like to see that, and I think Astros fans would like to see that. And if we can produce, Astros will be successful. Go on, Zoe. What you got?
Oh, it's my turn. Okay, well, I had Jose Abreu, my offensive MVP. Did not.
Yes.
No, no,
Oh.
no. That's not the
Oh,
one. That was
that was the
from
last.
the last
Oh,
series. Yeah,
my
that this
bad.
was this was the Chi-town, the South Side. The return coming back
Right.
home.
Right.
Wasn't that impressive. Brandon Belak, I'd say that was a good one for me. I knew he was going to come up
Mm.
good. And then Jose Abreu was my hot take, getting that first home run of the season, which we're still waiting on. And Angel had mentioned that the other time. I have mentioned it. I'm already like, okay, well, we tried. We tried basically, but it's a new series. Let's do it. Martin Maldonado is going to be my
Ooh.
offensive MVP. Give me
Okay.
him.
Yeah.
He had 8 hits in his last 8 games. He's batting over 300 in his last 7 games.
Yes.
Why not get the machete? And congratulations, by the way, to him and his wife. They're
Mhm.
expecting
Expecting.
their third child. On
Mhm.
Did
the
you see
beginning,
his
see
cleats?
the yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. That's what I was going to mention. The cleats out there shown a picture of the what was it? A monogram? It's called
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sonogram.
There you go.
Sonogram.
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 a sonogram. Okay, sorry
Yeah.
guys,
Wrong
but
letter. Wrong
Yeah.
letter.
Yeah. That's okay. It's okay. You guys are
change the S.
you guys are future dads. You'll know.
Future. But I thought that was cool. So congratulations to him. Hopefully Maybe we'll see a Maldi bomb. Dad Power is going to be coming kicking in soon. You never know.
Mhm.
My pitching MVP is going to be JP France. This guy is coming into Minute Maid Park for the first time of his career pitching at Minute Maid. I think he's going to dominate the juice box. He's going to get a welcoming, good, good crowd, sizable crowd, I would say, coming into the juice box and supporting our guy. And then my hot take. I read them numbers with, I believe it was Jameson Taillon and Drew Smiley. Left-handed hitters have had success. Give it to me. Jordan Alvarez hits 3 home runs this
Not
series.
one, not two, but
Three. Give me the 3 home runs this series. So I think it's possible. I feel like it's possible. He might have a 2 homer game as well. You never know. But with this guy and his stick, I think the Astros have a great chance, if possibly even sweeping this series. But Enrique, we already gave our offensive pitching hot takes. Let
Okay,
us know.
listen.
What's yours?
My look. I'm gonna go. Pitching wise, the franchise. I think the franchise is gonna roll in on Monday night, do his thing, and we're gonna set the tone real quick. Well, in the hitting side, man, it's tricky because the Martine thing is really really exciting. It gets me fired up when you talk about it because I mean, if we get some hitting out of Martine Maldonado, Machete, man, whoa, that's just awesome. But to be a little bit different from the group, I'm gonna go ahead and just go. I'm gonna go with another lefty in the lineup. I'm gonna go with Tucker, man. I think Tucker's gonna be nice. I think Tucker's the silent assassin, as we said before. He's gonna come in on Monday, do his thing, probably get about 1 to 2 hits, and then I think he's gonna get by the third game, have 2 or 3 hits again. So I'm gonna say that I think that Tucker was gonna have 5 hits this series. I'm gonna go with that. So and to basically piggyback a little bit about Abreu, I think Abreu is going to do something nice too. By the way, guys, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just again that half glass, half full, whatever. I don't half full mentality, man. I always mess it up and whatever half full. You know what I'm talking about. I really believe that he is going to click, man. And when he clicks, the presence is going to be known. And I'm rooting for him, man, because he's definitely a big part of this team, whether he shows it or not as of late. But he is a big part of our squad, and he's going to be a big part of the next couple years.
So is that your hot take right there? Jose Abreu lining it up.
Lining it up, but Tucker really is my legit one. I mean, he's Abreu's my soft, like, okay. But you know what? Why not? Let's do it too. Let's do it, Abreu. I'm with you, baby.
Awesome.
But what were we gonna say? What's the next thing? Anyways, keep going, guys. Sorry.
no, you're good. No, like I just want to point out that we, for the most part, we've been rooting for Jose Abreu.
Yeah.
It's like this entire podcast since we gone, and again, he's due.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
It just takes one hit to get you back. But moving on to around the league, former Astros pitcher Zack Greinke makes history. I don't know. To me, I mean, he could have been a World Series champion. I could have been saying former World Series champion, but Zack Greinke makes history. He becomes the 5th pitcher in Major League history to strike out 1,000 different batters. This just shows his longevity in the league, and he joins elite company. Nolan Ryan with 1,182. Randy Johnson, the big unit, 1,123. Greg Maddux and Roger Clemens. Like that's elite company, if you tell me. Now, Enrique, I have a question for you.
Yep.
With what Zack Greinke done in his entire career, is he Hall of Fame potential?
Oh man, yeah, dude, that's such a great question, man. Like, it is so tough to say because I mean his numbers are they're solid, right? His career is nothing to sneeze at, right? It's been a really good career. I mean, like you said earlier, it would have been amazing to have him be a World Series champion here with us as well. Because I mean, he definitely battled that series. When Game 7, even when people were writing him off. I mean, he battled, man. I don't know. It's tough. I think that his numbers do compare to some guys that have been in the Hall of Fame, but tough to say. I think the jury's still out for me. I have to, once it's all said and done, I'll definitely have a better gauge in my opinion, if he should be in it. But I'm sure he'll get plenty of votes. I mean, he's been a quality pitcher for many, many years, and he's definitely unique.
Oh yeah, definitely unique in his own way, and in a good way.
Yes.
Fun fact too. He was the last pitcher to get a hit in a World Series game. No one knew that. That is a good trivia question to ask people. Who is the last pitcher get a World Series hit in the World Series game. That has
And
to be it.
so, and now I retract all of my statement. He's a Hall of Famer.
I don't know. I don't know if you know this, but when he was when he was getting called up to go to the major leagues as a starting pitcher, he looked his coach dead in the face and said, "Can I do it again and become a shortstop?" Like,
Oh,
like that's just the kind of guy he really
yeah.
is. But
Stay
again,
classy.
very unique, very fun individual to be around. But we have more injury news in the
Oh,
league. The Tampa Bay Rays, like they're off to a tremendous hot start. Everything's rolling, but their pitching has been a week, like kind of like a week spot just due to injuries. Rays starting pitcher Rasmussen was placed in a 60-day IL with a flexor strain. They already lost Jeffrey Springs this year, and now they lose another. Like they're hard hit again. So if you put yourself in the shoes as a Rays fan, would you be worried? Yes or no?
I would say no. I think they got a lot of pitching depth, honestly.
Yeah.
They got Shane Bass. You still got Tyler Glass now, who hasn't pitched yet this year.
Mm.
And then you have Taj Bradley, who had a good 3 starts in the major league season, and then he was optioned to AAA. So I think they still got a bunch of depth. That's the thing about the race. Like a lot of people don't know that their pitching depth is just crazy
Oh
insane. It's
yeah.
like the Astros, but I mean, I think it. I think if you're a race fan, I wouldn't be very worried.
I agree. I don't think the Rays fans have any concern. And unfortunately, they don't pack the stadium as much either, so I don't think they're concerned too much. But I think it's one of those deals where, like how you said, though, they know what they're doing. They've done with less, right? And they've made
Mhm.
magic happen. So they've got a formula back there that they're really they're obviously living and dying with, and they have lived a lot more than they've died. So kudos to those guys, and no worries at all. They're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I feel like the Rays have like this guy with a long name that you don't know nothing about throwing 100 with a 90-mile-per-hour
Yeah.
slider, like just like with control and everything. So I'm sure they're stacked in the pitching. But we have a fun story to. So we're gonna end on a good note.
Mm.
Yuri Perez, welcome to the show. So this was the Marlins' number 1 prospect in their farm system,
Mm-hmm.
and number 9 overall in major leagues. And his his native brother Sandy Alcantara actually broke the news to Yuri Perez that he was getting called up. Alcantara has taken Perez under his wing ever since he got drafted. Perez was also there when Alcantara won his first Cy Young award. So they've been like, but
Wow.
I feel like he's been like an older brother to Perez, and now they're both playing on the same team, which he didn't do. So we did pretty good for his first start. 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's our number 1
Wow.
prospect for a reason. So
Yeah.
he's gonna be lighting it up on the speedometer for sure.
By the way, it says here he's 6'8".
All right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He is tall.
Wow, good for him.
Just imagine for the hitters trying to pick up his release points. Just
Yeah,
think about
that
dude,
long
that.
stride, yeah.
6'8". I'm looking at his picture, man. He's thin, man. He's just a tall cat. Wow, good for him.
Just wait till he builds some muscle.
Right,
My gosh, he
man.
could
Just
go over 100.
hey, man. Look, based on this picture that I'm looking at, I mean, he's definitely a long body, long limbs and whatnot, right? But it's like he looks like the frame is like Pedro Martinez from back in the day, just
Yeah.
thin, nothing crazy, but
Exactly.
like man, like, good for him, man. Congratulations to that awesome debut, and what a great story for
Well,
sure.
what do you think about this? He is the first MLB player born in 2003
Oh
Man,
my god.
that is playing this
Oh my
year.
god.
How do you feel?
Makes me
2003.
feel
Where were
old.
you at right now?
I was winning the national
National
championship.
championship.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, 20 years ago. But that reminds me of when I was working for the Astros, and I remember I forgot what the name was, but there was a pitcher that made his debut, and he was the first born player born in the year 2000. And I was like, wow, this cat made it to the big leagues. That was a while ago. It was at least 4 or 5 years ago, but still crazy to me.
Makes me
Um,
feel old.
yeah. Hey, but here's my around the league take. How about the Wilson Contreras situation, right? I still I
Yes.
find it unbelievable that you sign someone for a 5-year deal and give him a lot of money, and he's a catcher because you want him to basically, follow Yadier Molina and
One
be
of the
your and yeah, it's hard to follow one of the best of all time, right?
best. Mhm.
Especially a guy like Yadi, who basically handled that pitching staff hardcore. They trusted him no matter what, and he could hit a little bit. And he's definitely a Hall of Famer in my book. There's no doubt about that. But But for the Cardinals to kind of be shuffling him around, I don't know what's happening. I haven't dug too deep on it, but it's still, from the player perspective, it's got to be kind of tough that you came here with the mentality, I'm going to be a catcher. Now you're shuffling me as DH or outfield, and it's got to be tough. But that I just thought that was kind of noteworthy to mention around the league.
Do you think it's like front office kind of thing, like Olivio Marmol? Like, do you think he had something to do with it, and talk to management about it? Because I don't know what the catching depth is either with
Yeah.
St. Louis right now. Because of course, when you lose Yadier Molina,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, my gosh, who's going to be that catcher for us for the rest of the? Because the Cardinals franchise, their organization has been one of the best
Yes.
major league organizations throughout Major League Baseball for a good 20+ years, I'd
Hmm.
say. So now, do you think it could be management at this point?
I mean, he's definitely talking. They're definitely having discussions. There's no way that the manager alone could have just made that decision, right? He
Yeah,
had to talk to the front office people. But I just think that as a player, you got to kind of be shocked a little bit, right? I don't, like I said, there's some stuff probably happening in the clubhouse that we are obviously not privy to. That
mhm,
that is not to the liking or to the satisfaction of what they were expecting, and therefore they're somewhat in, I don't want to say panic mode, but like almost like let's conserve mode, as much as we can. But ultimately, they're gonna go back to him being the catcher. I just don't see any
you
other
have
way.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to.
He's the guy there, So, anyways, good. Sorry.
Yeah, and I just think the Cardinals are spoiled, honestly, because they've had Yadier Molina for so long. Like, it was like they knew it was coming. Like 2 years, like what these past 2 years, like they knew they needed a catcher. Like they knew like this time was gonna come, so they could have, prepared maybe a little bit more, drafted a high rated catcher, or set someone up to become a catcher. Because it's kind of hard to bring in a guy who had success with the Cubs. Like he let them, like he was behind the plate when the Cubs won the World Series, so he has that credibility. Is that veteran, and
Mhm.
just to replace a guy like Yadier, like it's kind of hard. Like I feel like they want results right away, and it's kind of hard to do that. And I feel like they're kind of blaming him for the pitcher struggles, but the pitchers are the ones throwing the pitches. Like they're the one leaving things out of out of the
In
plate.
the
So
Yeah.
zone.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, I mean he calls the game and all, but again, I just think the Cardinals are just living the reality of non Yadier Molina as their
Yeah. That is definitely what it is, man. It is trying to figure out life after a Yachty,
yeah.
and it's tough because he is such a leader in the whole group, and he's been a major fixture of their success the last 10 years. So it's gonna be tough, but they're gonna be all right because they're just too good of an organization, man.
Yeah,
Their track record speaks for themselves. I mean, they're solid, and this is just gonna be a blip in the radar. This is just something for us to talk about, in the around the league segment.
Yeah, for sure.
definitely. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. But that is all for today's show. Continue to follow us at Twitter at Full Steam Ahead, same on TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We're still new, trying to get it out there. And of course, we got our podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But guys, do y'all have anything else before we sign off?
No, thank you for joining us, and we try to keep it under an hour. We got you 52 minutes.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Nah,
But thank
yeah.
you, Enrique. Thank you for joining
Thank you,
us
guys.
once
Thank you.
again.
For
No,
sure.
We really
absolutely. Always,
appreciate it.
always having a fun time, guys. Enjoy the conversation, enjoy the banter, and let's go Stros.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully the Astros win the series against the Chicago Cubs, maybe a possible sweep. You never know. But till then, we will talk to y'all later on the next segment of FSA. See you guys. Bye.
Peace.